मोस्ट इम्पोर्टेंट सेशन पोर्टफोलियो का। ओके, सेकंड लास्ट सेशन है, बट जिसके लिए मतलब जिसका आउटपुट 10 साल तक आने वाला है। तो दुबई से अपने पास जयकिशन जी आए हैं। तो जयकिशन जी का इंटरनेशनल क्रेडिट में 27 साल से वो दुबई में रह रहे हैं एंड उनका एक्सपर्टिटी है। तो आई वेलकम जयकिशन जी एंड साथ में पार्था जी फ्रॉम विशाखापट्टनम। तो ये दोनों मिलकर अपने को पोर्टफोलियो के बारे में गाइड करेंगे और ये पोर्टफोलियो 10 साल में 10x से ज़्यादा होने वाला है। सो आई वेलकम जयकिशन जी।
Thank you. So we all have been talking about creating a portfolio, and of course you'll get the portfolio which will help you create your wealth or put you to the journey of wealth. But before we go into that, what is the household wealth of the world? There are 8 billion people in this world. Okay, what is the household wealth? It is $418 trillion. This is the total household wealth, out of which if you see India, it's 12.83 trillion. It's approximately rounded off to 13 trillion. Okay, and if you look at India's contribution, if you all have been hearing Subhash ji speaking, India's GDP contribution in the world is around 3%. Our household wealth contribution is 3% of the world's total household wealth. China, if you look at, it is 75 trillion. So you can imagine 40 years back, India and China was similar. Okay, today China is 5 times more than India. Now, any guesses, where is this 13 trillion in India allocated? In which assets? Of course, gold. Yeah. FDs. Okay, what percentage?
Maximum real estate.
Who said 80? 80% in real estate. Very close, sir. It is 77% in real estate. So out of this $13 trillion of wealth, almost 10 trillion is in real estate. Okay. In gold, it is 1.4 trillion, and in durable goods, it's almost $1 trillion. So these financial assets, okay, it's just 5%. So if you see, Indians believe in real things, which they can touch, feel, and see. Okay, so real estate, gold, and durable goods. Okay, now if we compare this, with the other countries, India has got 95% of its assets in physical. Okay, only 5% in financial assets. And by financial assets, I mean stocks, bonds, and all these things. If you look at the liability side, you see the unsecured debt. Unsecured debt, there is no security on that debt. That is the highest in India compared to any other develops. They shift to more secured debt. Okay, so this gives you an indication there will be huge growth in the banking sector, in the financial sector. Okay, but why are we talking about all this? Any guesses? Why are we talking about all this?
Move होने वाला है.
Correct. The financialization has already started. As you've heard, even the camps people, the BSc person speaking, what this financialization is happening is, out of this 95% which is in real assets, even if 1% starts shifting to financial assets, we are talking of more than $100 billion. Okay? More than $100 billion. So if this starts coming into the stock markets, we don't need the FFIs. India itself has got enough wealth to run its own markets. Okay, so this is a key thing, and this is what is happening. So the younger generation, the educated population, you heard them say they've started investing in SIPs. Now, whose financial advice do we take? Any guesses? Okay, you buy physical assets. Okay, whose advice do you take? फ्रेंड्स, ओके, घर लेते हो तो क्या करते हो?
Right.
Of course, suicide wife. Oh wow, give him a round of applause. Okay, and this is what RBI says, spouse is number one. Okay, gold, car. Okay, so every one of us in this room, we have a portfolio. It's basically a group of assets. Okay, physical assets like car, house, real estate, refrigerator, gold, financial assets like stocks and bonds. अब कईयों ने यहाँ पे बड़े प्लानिंग के साथ बनाया होगा अपना पोर्टफोलियो, but most of us over here, we've just done it in a haphazard manner.
Yes.
Okay, for today's this thing, we'll just confine ourselves to financial assets and more specifically stocks, and that's what we'll be speaking about more. तो अगर स्टॉक्स की बात करते हैं, देयर इज ए समथिंग कॉल्ड मॉडर्न पोर्टफोलियो थियरी. ये थियरी क्या कहता है? दैट इट्स ए प्रैक्टिकल मेथड ऑफ सेलेक्टिंग इन्वेस्टमेंट्स in order to maximize our overall returns with an acceptable level of risk. Okay, so maximizing overall returns for a portfolio, okay, with an acceptable level of risk. तो बेसिकली ये क्या करता है इस कि ये वी बेसिकली इन्वेस्ट इन डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ इन्वेस्टमेंट्स. ओके, और थियरी क्या है कि कुछ इन्वेस्टमेंट्स ऊपर जाएंगे, कुछ नीचे आएंगे. ओके, ऑन द होल इट विल बी बैलेंस, बट सिंस द मार्केट्स गो अप with the rising tide, your portfolio will also go up. And this is the theory which Harry Markowitz proposed in his portfolio selection, और इसके लिए उनको नोबेल प्राइज भी मिला था 1952 में. Okay, so we need to look at couple of things. One is returns. Investor सब टाइम रिटर्न देखता है, रिस्क भूल जाता है. Okay, so we need to look at risk. Okay, and third thing is diversification. Okay, so anybody, what is risk? Risk क्या है? Sorry?
Time.
Yeah, तो basically adverse ये होगा कि it could be an adverse deviation from a desired outcome. Okay, आप कुछ आउटकम एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे हो, उसका उल्टा हो गया. ओके, सो दैट इज बेसिकली रिस्क. अब रिटर्न क्या है? हाँ, पे ऑफ है कि इन्वेस्टर को क्या पैसा मिला. ओके, और अगर हम लोग देखते हैं रिटर्न का, तो हमको रिस्क भी कंसिडर करना चाहिए. ओके, दिस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. और वॉरेन बफेट जी कहते हैं रिस्क कम्स फ्रॉम नॉट नोइंग व्हाट यू आर डूइंग. ओके, लकीली ओवर हियर वी नो व्हाट वी आर डूइंग, which companies we are investing in. अब जनरली जो मार्केट में ये है कि लो रिस्क अगर हम लोग लेते हैं तो वी कैन एक्सपेक्ट लो रिटर्न्स. हाई रिस्क लेते हैं सो वील गेट हाई रिटर्न्स. सो इफ यू लुक एट द चार्ट ऑन द लेफ्ट हैंड साइड, फिक्स्ड डिपॉजिट्स आर कंपेरेटिवली लो रिस्क, सो यू आर गेटिंग लो रिटर्न्स. 5-6% मिल रहा है. एंड एज यू मूव टूवर्ड्स द राइट हैंड साइड where you start investing in equities, it is more risk, but your returns are also higher. Okay, if you look at the chart on the this thing on the right hand side, the highest risk in stocks is in options and futures, and that has the highest return. Okay, for an investor the ideal thing is अगर हम लो रिस्क लेके हाई रिटर्न कमाएं, सो दैट इज द बेस्ट. या इज इट पॉसिबल? प्रॉफिट फ्रॉम इट में पॉसिबल है. एग्जैक्टली. ओके, सो एग्जैक्टली दिस इज व्हाट वी आर ट्राइंग टू डू ओवर हियर. ओके, वी आर ट्राइंग to create a diversified portfolio okay, and even the mutual funds do almost the same, where they try to reduce the risk and try to give you higher return. Okay, is it clear? Yes. Great. Okay, now there are two types of risks basically, which as an investor we all need to know. There is something called systematic risk, which influences a large number of assets. Okay, or generally इसको कहते हैं market risk also. It is sometimes not under investors' control. Like this, suddenly war breakout हो गया, inflation हो गया. But to a certain extent, like as Piyush sir was saying, if you invest in FD, and he emphasizes a lot कि 50% FD में डालो, 50% market में डालो, okay, because of this. Okay, कल अगर war लग गया, कल अगर कुछ हो गया, at least you'll be getting your FD returns. Okay, unsystematic risk जो है, that influences a single company or a particular sector. Okay, it's basically very sector specific or firm specific. Okay, जैसे अभी फायर लग गया दीपक नाइट्रेट में, तो वो पर्टिकुलर कंपनी में इफेक्ट होगा, बट सिंस आवर पोर्टफोलियोज आर डाइवर्सिफाइड, तो टोटल ओवरऑल पोर्टफोलियो में इतना इम्पैक्ट नहीं आएगा. सो दैट इज हाउ we try to manage our risk. We cannot eliminate the risk 100%. We just need to manage it. Now, in an investor, if he is investing for long term, he has to go through the economic cycle. Or generally, the economic cycle hota hai, that lasts for 10 to 11 years. And during this economic cycle, you'll see boom economy, where the economy is booming, and during this phase you'll get exceptional returns or above average returns. Then there'll be a phase in the economy which is like normal economy, growing as per whatever is the GDP expectation and all, and you'll have average recession, average returns, and then there's the dreaded recession. Okay, जैसा अभी US में बात हो रहा है, and there's a possibility that US can go down into recession. During this time, we'll have below normal or negative returns. So, an investor who's investing needs to be aware of all these three cycles. Now, what we are trying to do over here is, we are trying to optimize our portfolio. So, as Bankinji discussed and he enlightened us with which sectors have got demand or are growing sectors. Okay, so we all know which sectors are growing. Then Prashant ji talked to us within those sectors which are the quality companies that we should be looking at. And if we can pick these quality companies at good valuation, so growth plus quality plus valuation will lead you to the journey of creating wealth. Okay, and this will lower your risk and give you higher returns. Okay, so it's clear so far. So basically, I've so far talked about one way where we can minimize or reduce risk, that is by diversifying our portfolio. This is a second method where we can reduce or minimize our risk, and this thing has been done by one of Profit From It students, and this is amazing. What he has done is he's taken 26 years of data of the NIFTY, and he has put it that if an investor is investing for 1 year in the market, okay, 10 years were negative, 16 years were positive. Okay, so the probability of making money is 62% or 0.62. Okay, that's around 62%. So it's slightly better than a flip of a coin, that you'll be making money, and the average return could be around 16%. But as you start moving and give more time in the market, say around 8 years, the probability that you'll lose any money, okay, is practically zero. It's practically zero. And if you do it ideally for 10 years, okay, your returns also would be better. Okay, so there are two ways to reduce the risk. One is diversification, the second is time in the market. Okay, now how is the current scenario? जोश कैसा है? 22 में, 2020 में ये हाल था. ओके, आजकल मैं बाहर लोगों से बात करता हूँ, वो कहते हैं यार पोर्टफोलियो की बात मत कर मेरे. ओके, और वो लोग क्यों कहते हैं? इफ यू लुक एट दिस, ओके, दीज आर द बेसिक वर्ल्ड इंडिसेस, मेजर वंस. ओके, पोस्ट वॉर देखो 24%, NASDAQ had gone down to more than 30%. Okay, NIFTY 14, Nikkei 14, South Korea Kospi 25. So this has been the fall in the markets. Okay, but if you look at 10-year CAGR over a 10-year period, okay, our NIFTY has given 12% returns. Okay, which is very good. Only NASDAQ has outperformed the NIFTY. Okay, these are phenomenal returns if you hold it for a longer term. Now, as Pankaj ji had said, 12% से खुश नहीं है, we want more. Okay, so here are some of the sectors which have outperformed the NIFTY in the last 10 years, like NIFTY IT, financial services, banking. Okay, where you have had higher returns. Okay, now coming to the main thing, portfolio. So what we have done is, and the parameters that we have used to give you this portfolio is, it has to be a company in the growing sector which has got top growth. It should be top quality company. Okay, the management of the company should be good. The company should have leadership or dominant position, and something called balancing with its peers. Like you all know, Page Industries is a fantastic company, but I need to compare it with its peer in the retail sector. I cannot give it 100% weightage. Okay, so this weightage also plays a very important role. Okay, so what we have done is, we have designed certain parameters for weightage where the broad sector maximum can be 25%. So if you are investing in, say, finance, maximum can be 25%. Then under finance there are other subsectors like private bank, insurance, NBFCs. In those subsectors the max should be 15, and in any individual company not more than 7. Now this is the allocation, what we think would be good, where you can allocate around 22% to retail, 21% for tech, 19% for finance, 18% for infra, 7.5% for health, 3.5% for auto, and 9% for others. Now in others, what we have taken is the restaurant industry, the agri industry, and leisure and amusement industries over here in others. What we'll try to do is go through each of these sectors and tell you which companies we have allocated.